Magomed Ankalev's story is one of resilience, perseverance, and a relentless pursuit of greatness. Hailing from the Republic of Dagestan, Russia, Ankalev's journey into the world of mixed martial arts, MMA, wasn't handed to him on a silver platter. He faced adversity from a young age, growing up in an environment where competition and combat were a part of daily life. But what set Magomed apart was his unyielding desire to overcome every obstacle in his path. Early years and background. Born in 1992, Magomed grew up in the rugged mountains of Dagestan, a region known for producing some of the toughest fighters in the world. From a young age, he was surrounded by people who lived and breathed combat sports, whether it was wrestling, judo, or boxing. Despite this, Magomed initially did not show an overt interest in fighting. His first foray into sports was through judo, but it was clear that he had something more to offer than just technique. However, life in Dagestan was far from easy. The region is known for its tumultuous history, with ongoing conflicts and a culture of harsh physical demands. Magomed's family wasn't wealthy, and the economic conditions meant that every opportunity he pursued came with a hard price. At the age of 12, Ankalev's life took a turn when he started training in combat sambo. His natural athleticism and tenacity quickly became apparent. But his journey was not without its struggles. He faced early setbacks, losing his first few competitive matches. In his mind, these were moments of failure that could either define him or fuel him. He chose the latter. Rise in combat sports. Magomed's transition from judo to sambo wasn't smooth. He struggled with his mental game initially, questioning his own abilities and doubting his chances in the competitive world of mixed martial arts. But each loss only made him more determined. He spent countless hours in the gym, working not just on his body, but on his mind. With every fight, he grew more confident and more dominant. By the age of 19, Ankalev had already proven himself as a force in the world of combat sambo. His remarkable grappling skills, combined with his raw power, made him a formidable opponent. But it was his mental strength and refusal to quit that made him stand out. Even in the face of some of the toughest opponents, Magomed's calmness and focus under pressure became his trademarks. Transition to MMA. Magomed Ankalev's entry into MMA was inevitable. With his background in sambo, he knew he had the skills to compete. But the world of MMA posed an entirely different set of challenges. It was more than just wrestling and striking. It was a combination of everything he had learned, and more. To succeed in the UFC, Ankalev would need to blend his grappling prowess with stand-up striking, something he wasn't entirely familiar with. At first, his transition was rocky. His striking needed work, and his ability to maintain composure under the bright lights of the UFC arena was put to the test. In his early fights, Magomed faced a series of mixed results. Some victories, some close losses. These moments could have crushed anyone's spirit, but not Magomed. The turning point came in his fight against Ion Cutelaba in 2020. The fight was filled with controversy, as Magomed knocked Cutelaba out in a dramatic first-round sequence, but the referee's stoppage was called into question. The rematch in November of the same year was a true display of his evolution as a fighter. Ankalev dominated Cutelaba, knocking him out again, but this time in a much more convincing fashion. It was clear that Ankalev was no longer the same fighter who had walked into the UFC several years ago. He had evolved, and his confidence was now undeniable. Struggles and sacrifices. Though Magomed had tasted success, his journey was far from easy. Like many top athletes, he faced personal struggles off the mat. The mental toll of a career in MMA is often underestimated. The constant pressure to perform, the fear of losing, and the weight of expectations took its toll on his psyche. But through it all, Ankalev's resolve remained unshaken. His struggles were as much internal as they were external. There were times when his family faced difficulties back home, Times when Magomed had to fight not just for his career, but for his people. The pressures of being the pride of his region, the one fighter who could make it out, weighed heavily on him. But Ankalaev had a unique drive. He fought not just for himself, but for the legacy of Dagestan and the future of his community. His motivation was rooted in the belief that if he succeeded, others from his region could too. Recent triumphs and the road ahead. Magomed Ankalaev's rise to a title contender in the UFC's light heavyweight division was nothing short of spectacular. His victories over fighters like Thiago Santos, Jan Błachowicz, and Anthony Smith showcased not just his physical talent, but his strategic genius. Each victory came with its own set of obstacles. Santos was a tough, experienced fighter, and Błachowicz, the former champion, was a formidable opponent who tested Magomed's resolve. But Ankalaev's patience, precision, and ability to adjust his strategy made him a rising star in the UFC. However, the road to becoming a champion is never straightforward. Ankalaev had to overcome setbacks, injuries, and the relentless grind of training camps. Despite all of this, Magomed remains determined, knowing that each challenge is just another step toward achieving his ultimate goal, becoming the light heavyweight champion of the UFC. Legacy and reflection. Looking back on his journey, Magomed Ankalaev's struggle is one of constant growth and self-reflection. He has fought through adversity, not just in the cage, but in his own mind. He is a fighter who has faced defeat, disappointment, and doubt, but has never allowed those moments to define him. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of mental fortitude, and the unwavering commitment to one's goals. Ankalaev's struggle is far from over, but every fight, every setback, and every triumph has shaped him into one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC. His legacy is still being written, and the world is watching closely to see just how high he can rise. Magomed Ankalaev's full struggle is a tale of grit, determination, and the relentless pursuit of greatness, one fight at a time.